Yeah, I had to like, had to like, you know, I had to put the brightness on my laptop, man. This history might refresh the memory that you already done had in years, recent memories. Anybody remember this guy who played as Michael Brady on the 1960s, 1970s uh TV show The Brady Bunch? This happens to be John Robert Rietz Jr. And you guys know him. You guys know him professionally as Robert Reed. This man was an American actor. He played Kenneth Preston on this old 1960s legal drama called The Defenders. The Defenders. He played that character on that show from 1961 to 1965. Yeah, from 1961 to 1965, alongside the E.G. Marshall, who was an American actor, who has been one of the first group people as selected as one of the new as for the this new actor studio by the 1940s, and then later he had performed in major plays on Broadway. That's E.G. Marshall. But uh, in Reed, it, I mean, Reed's who's known as Reed. This guy was best known. He was best known for his role as patriarch Mike Brady, opposite the late Florence Henderson. Uh, Her role as Carol Brady on the ABC sitcom The Brady Bunch, which aired from 1969 all the way to 1974. It could have just ended in 1973, but it ended in 1974. So that's around the year Good Times, uh, came on and got on the air anyway. Uh, he later reprised his role of of the Mike Brady character on several of the reunion programs. In 1976, he earned two Primetime Emmy Award nominations for his guest starring role in a two-part episode of Medical Center, and for his work on the miniseries Rich Man, Poor Man. The following year, Reed earned a third nomination, a third Emmy nomination. That's what he earning a third Emmy nomination for his role in the miniseries Roots. It was like an American TV miniseries that's based on the old 1976 novel of the same name. It was known as the Saga of an American Family. Well, that set was during, you know during and after the era of slavery in the U.S. But that series was being aired in on ABC in the late 1970s, But that TV miniseries had received 37 primetime Emmy Award nominations and things like that. We're going to the early life of John Robert uh, Rietz Jr., who was, that's what happened. That's what Robert Reed was. You know, that's the alias that was already been that was been like completely known. Let me explain this to you about this guy. Robert Reed. Robert Reed was born John Robert Rietz Jr. in the northern Chicago suburb of Highland Park, Illinois. He is the only child of Helen and John Robert Rietz Sr., who were the high school sweethearts and married at the age of 18. Reed attended the West Division High School, not West Division High School, West Division School in the Community Consolidated School District, number 62. As well, I gotta pronounce this. To me, Community Consolidated School District 62. But until 1939, his father John Robert Rietz Sr., he started working for the government, and his mother, she was a homemaker. His mother, Helen Tieberbog, was a homemaker. You know, Reed spent his early childhood, yeah, Reed spent his early childhood years in Navasota, Texas, and Shawnee, Oklahoma, attending Woodrow Wilson Grade School before the family right before the family moved to Muskogee, Oklahoma. That's a few miles of Shawnee and Tulsa and Oklahoma City. So in Oklahoma, in the state of Oklahoma, his father John Sr. worked as a let me let me let me let me let me go rephrase this. John Robert Rietz Sr. hit Reed's father. He used to work as a turkey slash cattle farmer. He used to be a farmer, who's specializing in turkeys and cattle. In his youth, Reed started joining. Reed started joining the 4-H agricultural club and showed calves. He started showing his calves, uh, but he was more interested in acting and music while attending Central High School. Yeah, while attending Central High School in Muskogee. He participated in both activities. Reed also took the stage where he performed and sang. He also started working as a radio announcer, at local radio stations, and he just wrote and produced radio dramas, like radio style dramas. You know, Reed started graduating from Muskogee Central uh, in 1950. In 1950, and he just enrolled into at a local Northwestern University to study drama. So he, during his younger years at Northwestern University, Reed appeared in several plays under the direction of Alvina Krauss, who was an American drama teacher at the school. A celebrated Northwestern drama coach. Reed performed in more than 8 plays in college, all with the leading roles. He later studied for 1 term at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art in London, England. That's right, in the UK, London, England. He, upon returning to the U.S., Reed appeared in summer stock in Eagles Mere, Pennsylvania. A few miles, that's a couple miles from Philadelphia and in Pittsburgh, and and other towns that was in that state. He later joined the off Broadway theater group. It's called the Shakespeareites. That's what he named it, quote unquote, the Shakespeareites, and played Romeo in Romeo and Juliet, and had a lead role in A Midsummer Night's Dream. A Midsummer Night's Dream. After leaving the Shakespeareites, why did they name that? Why you name that theater group? They always been they're like the Shakespeareans, but they're like the Shakespeareites. After leaving after leaving the Shakespeareites, we joined the Studebaker Theater. It's all real life back in the day, black and white, colored, uh, you know, time period from back in the 1940s, 1950s, and that's what happened when it's long after uh Al Capone died in uh of a stroke in 1947. So Al Capone was a mobster, an old school mobster. So that's what goes within Capone's death. That was his downfall. I'm going to let it be known. Um, Let me tell you about Robert Wade. Robert Wade for a minute. This man had been joining the Studebaker Theater company that was in Chicago, but he eventually adopted the stage name. Yeah, Robert. Yeah, the stage name like he. What did Robert Reed do? Who had to be John Weitz, John Weitz Jr. John Weitz Jr., aka Robert Reed, joined the Studebaker Theater Company in Chicago, but he eventually adopted the Robert Reed stage name. The stage name Robert Reed, he adopted it, and he just moved to L.A. Okay, Los Angeles, California. Yeah, he moved there to L.A., Los Angeles, California. That's like a town, you know, that was known for, that was for the rich people. But you had the South Central, you know, neighborhood a few miles away from. from which part of that town. You had the Hollywood, you know, there. So that's where that's why people made that's how the movies were made up there, especially down there anyways at the in in the California inner city. So that happens. Uh, so and it's a part when this was where he eventually adopted the stage name Robert Reed, and moved to Los Angeles in the was it 1950s 1957 late 1950s. I think it was 1957. He moved to LA in the late 50s just to further pursue that career, the acting career that he'd been pursuing for at least decades. So his acting career would start when he guest this is where he started guest starring at. Uh, Reed made his first guest starring appearance in an episode of a classic TV sitcom, Father Knows Best. Father Knows Best. I mean, there was in 19 it was in 1959. That was around the time. That was in 1959 where all just it was all in black and white. So this led to the guest roles on Men into Space and Lawman, as well as his first credited film appearance in Bloodlust in the early 1960s, 1961 as exact. Reed landed his first television starring role in this I think it was called The Defenders. I think he landed that first TV starring role in The Defenders. That's what they called it, the Defenders. Alongside fellow Studebaker, uh, theater performer E.G. Marshall. Rest in peace to E.G. Marshall. You know what I mean? Yeah, who had passed away. If I remember, but E.G. Marshall died in 1998. So yeah, he died. He died the same breath as he died just like Norman fell. So uh that's E.G. Marshall doing his Studebaker theater performance. That was all way back in the old days. So with the two, with the two playing a father and son team of defense attorneys. Marshall was one of the founding members of the Actors Studio in New York. Around this time, Reed himself became a member of the studio, and remained a member for the next 30 years. The next 30 years, uh, The Defenders was a hit with the audiences that earned a lot of 22 Primetime Emmy Award nominations. Primetime Emmy Award nominations. That's 22 of them. But E.G. Marshall won about two of them for his performance, while the show had won twice the outstanding drama series. The ratings for the series were high. They were high during its first three seasons, but it kind of fell when CBS moved the series from Saturday nights to Thursday nights. CBS had canceled The Defenders. That's what CBS did with The Defenders. They canceled the show in 1965. In 1965, they canceled it. They pulled the plug on that show. Uh, while appearing on the Defenders, in 1964, Reed made his Broadway stage as Bratter. Paul Bratter. Uh, he played the Paul Bratter character. He made his Broadway stage debut as the character. Uh, in barefoot in the park. I think it was barefoot. I think it was barefoot in the park. That was put on by Neil Simon, who used to be, that man used to be a damn good American playwright and or be a screenwriter and an author, you know. But rest in peace to Marvin Neil Simon. He passed away in 2018. Um, yeah, he played. Yeah, Reed made his Broadway debut, his Broadway stage debut as the Paul Bratter character in Neil Simon's Barefoot in the Park. You know, it was like now it's been remade. Now it's been completely remade. Uh, before 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 Neil Simon died in 2018. It was remade. Then they have new characters that had Tony Roberts, uh, Patrick Wilson, Joe Clayburgh, and Amanda Peet. So, well, Amanda Peet was in that playwright. Is that play anyway? There was no Broadway stage play. But yeah, with Robert Reed, they had to replace, he had to replace, he had to replace, they had to replace Robert Redford. I mean, Robert Reed is like a replacement for let me explain this. Replacing Robert Redford, you know, for the remainder of the decade, Reed appeared primarily primarily in TV guest spots, TV guest spots, including the roles in Family Affair, Ironside, Ironside, you know, uh, when he was working with the late Raymond Burr, the Mod Squad. It was there. It was on there. Uh, well, everybody's on there. Everybody's on there, including Clarence Williams the third and Peggy Lipton. I mean, Peggy Lipton was who had to be Quincy Lipton, not Quincy Lipton, Peggy Lipton, who had to be Quincy Jones's wife. I did not know of. How he his wife. I did not know. And Bob Hope presents the Chrysler Theater. Yeah, it was put on by Bob Hope. It's Bob Hope presents the Chrysler Theater. Yeah, been on TV guest spots, primarily appearing on including Family Affair, Ironside, the Mod Squad, and Bob Hope presents the Chrysler Theater. The Chrysler Theater. Uh, that's Bob Hope presents. He also appeared in a film in a 1968 film called Star, and in the Broadway production goes by the name of Avanti. Avanti. So we gotta go. Let's take a look at the Brady Bunch. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the Brady Bunch for a minute. Let's go to the Brady Bunch. Uh, Appearing in the Neil Simon play, Barefoot in the Park, led to two new contracts at Paramount Pictures and ABC, both in 1968, when Paramount decided to turn the television version of Barefoot in the Park, the TV version of Barefoot in the Park, into the park. I'm down into it. Barefoot in the Park is what it's turned into. They decided to turn the TV version of that Barefoot in the Park play into a predominantly African American show. But they had planned for Reed. They planned for Reed to star in something else. Instead, the new series was entitled The Brady Bunch and featured a widowed man with three boys marrying a widowed woman with three girls. The series creator the series creator Sherwood Schwartz Sherwood Charles Schwartz, who was an American TV screenwriter and producer. You know, let me explain it to Sherwood. I'll explain to you about Sherwood Charles Schwartz. He passed away in 2000. He passed away, in 2011. You know what I'm saying? He passed away in 2011. There's a photo of him as he held that as he held that Hollywood Walk of Fame plaque. But he receives his star before his untimely death in 2011. But he received it in 2008. He received it in 2008 before he died. He died in right before he died in 2011. We explain to you, Sherwood Schwartz, Sherwood Charles Schwartz, who was an American TV screenwriter and producer. You know, he said this. He said that he was so inspired to create the series after reading a news item in the Los Angeles Times that's been that publishing that's a newspaper that only started happening in LA. It started publishing in LA in the early 1880s. That's based on the LA County of El Segundo ever since the 2010s. But it became the sixth largest newspaper by circulation in the U.S., as well as the largest newspaper in the Western United States of America, which I did not know that. So that's what they're trying to do with LA Times. This man was reading a news item. Why does Sherwood Schwartz, the late Sherwood Schwartz, who was a creator for that show, being so inspired to create a series after reading a news item in the LA Times stating that more than 29% of all marriages included a child in or what children from what previous marriage. Schwartz Schwartz had Schwartz had thought of an that was the idea was that was the key to a new and unusual TV series. It was a revelation. It was a revelation. The first blended family his kids and her kids together, like this together. Reed was the producer's second choice for the role of Mike Brady. Mike Brady, after Gene Hackman, who was a legendary actor, uh, and a former actor, who was rejecting it because he was largely unknown at the time. Also starring on the Brady Bunch was actress Florence Henderson. Rest in peace. Well, she died in 2016. Before her death, she was working on this movie with Pam Grier and Judge Reinhold. It's this movie called Bad Grandmas. Bad Grandmas. It's a movie that was shown on Tubi. So, R.I.P. to Florence Henderson. This woman who played the role of Mike Brady's wife, Carol Brady, after her best friend Shirley Jones. That's her friend here. That's her friend in that's her friend in who she know in the show business. Shirley Mae Jones had turned down the role of in favor of the Partridge Family. This is a musical sitcom Bernard Slade had created. The Partridge Family, a 1970s American TV sitcom. They also casted Who was also casted on the series, but who's also being casted on the series was N.B. Davis, who had later died in 2014. Who had died in 2014. Let me tell you about this, man. Also on the cast, on the series was N.B. Davis. Okay, let me tell you about this woman, Ann Bradford, Davis. Uh, uh, who had portrayed as the maid for the Brady's, Alice Nelson. Alice Nelson, despite earning poor reviews, from the critics, and never cracking the top 30 during its 5-season run, the Brady Bunch remained an audience favorite of the 1970s since its cancellation in 1974. I had to clear my throat. Since its cancellation, in 1974, the series had a healthy afterlife in the syndication, and spawned several spin-off series and two television reunion films. Two television reunion films. They had the other shit that was on this motherfucker. They had some other shit that was on there. They had the Brady Bunch kids. That's been a thing. You got the cast members. You got six of the cast members. They did this Brady Bunch kids tour and all that. I did not even know. But this all happened there. Uh, Let me explain this. The series had a healthy afterlife in syndication, and it spawned several spin-off series and two television reunion films, along with the two parody films. They already done some porno. They had some porno parodies of of like you have, what else was there? Dahlia the Lions, who was a porn star. What else is there? Holly Parker and Aubrey Cates. They all turned to be porn stars. They all had to be like tranny porn, like porn stars. All three of the women are like transsexuals anyway. They're all transsexuals with dicks. They're all just girls. They're all a bunch of women with dicks and balls. So what do you think that's gonna do? I don't know if they were born this way. I do not know why. From the beginning, from the very beginning of the sitcom's debut, yeah, the sitcom's debut in September 1969, Reed was so unhappy with his role as Mike Brady. He felt that acting in the often silly program was beneath his training as a serious Shakespearean actor. Producers and directors, they found Reed difficult to work with, both on and off the set. However, all of the cast members, they got along very well. They gotten along very well with him in his efforts to bring more realism to the sitcom, to the TV show. Reed often locking horns with the program's creator and executive producer, Sherwood Schwartz. Sherwood Schwartz, who was you know he locking horns with Sherwood Schwartz. Robert Reed, he's locking horns with Sherwood Schwartz, who was the creator and executive producer of the Brady Bunch. His name was on the screen for those episodes. He locking horns with Schwartz, bro. There's some beef going on between the two. So there's some beef between those two. I couldn't even tell. I watched a documentary that was based on the Brady Bunch television show on Tubi TV. I'm gonna watch the documentary after I'm done with this live show. Damn, I can't believe that Robert Reed, he often locking the horns with the program's creator and executive producer of the show, Schwartz. Schwartz. Man, Robert Reed. Robert Reed has some motherfucking balls, bro. He has some motherfucking balls. This guy is difficult, difficult for the producers and executive producers to work with anyway. But that happened with that only happened with Monique Imes. When Monique Imes and like Lionsgate, they deemed they deemed her is difficult to work with. I did not even find that to be a crutch. Reed, he regularly presented Schwartz a handwritten memoranda detailing on why a certain motivation did not make sense, or why it was wrong to combine the elements of farce and satire, of farce and satire. Schwartz generally Schwartz generally ignored Reed's suggestions, although in an attempt to alleviate tension, to alleviate the tension. Schwartz occasionally, yes, Schwartz occasionally allowed Reed to direct some episodes. In a 1983 interview, motherfuckers gonna get me copyright struck. In a 1983 interview, Reed admitted that he often butted heads with the show's creator, Schwartz. He butted heads with Schwartz, stating that we fought over the scripts, always, always over the scripts, always over the scripts. The producer, Sherwood Schwartz, rest in peace, had done Gilligan's Island just gag lines, just gag lines. That would have been what the Brady Bunch would have been if I hadn't protested. Reed was particularly, you know, let alone appalled by what would turn out to be the show's final episode. It's called the Hairbrained Scheme. The Hairbrained Scheme. He sent Schwartz a memo picking apart his problems with the episode, but Schwartz did not receive the memo. Let alone Schwartz did not even care about the memo promptly enough to alter the script as Reed had wanted. As a result, Reed refused to appear in the episode altogether. Reed doesn't want to be on the episode altogether. He refused to appear in it altogether. By this time, Schwartz was growing tired of Reed's antagonistic behavior and decided to replace him. They decided to replace him for the sake of the show's sixth season. However, the series was so canceled by ABC. Shortly thereafter, Reed later claimed that he originally accepted the role for financial reasons, but he tried to remain positive despite his creative differences with Schwartz by reminding himself the series was primarily about the children. It's about the children. Reed masking his dissatisfaction. His dissatisfaction. That's what Reed had done. He started masking his dissatisfaction in front of the camera, always performing professionally without any indication of his unhappiness, despite his discontent. His what's his word? His discontentment. What the show? He genuinely liked all of his co-stars, and he was like a father figure, to the younger cast members, like 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 uh Williams, Knight, Lookinland, McCormick, Plum, and Olsen. Co-star Susan Olsen, who played as Cindy Brady. You know what I mean? She became friends. She became friends with Karen Rietz, Robert Reed's daughter, who made guest appearances. Who had made one guest appearance in the episode The Slumber Caper. That's right, the Slumber Caper. Reed's final appearance in the series was in the penultimate episode. The episode is called The Hustler. Yeah, it's a penultimate episode. I think they had the episode as the final line they used. It's been used. It's called The Hustler. It's called The Hustler. That was the final line that what did Reed had done in the final episode. In that final episode, man, his final line in the episode. His final line is what he said. I mean, he said that like it's like quote unquote. Now I can get my car in the garage. That's like the hustle. The hustler is all about that. It's now he can get his car into the garage. Uh, during the run of the Brady Bunch, poor thing happened. Reed, he also had a recurring role as a character who goes by the name of Lieutenant Adam Tobias on the TV series Mannix. It was a late 1960s TV uh, TV series. It's a late 1960s TV series that used to be on CBS. Uh, and guess who created it? Guess who created it? Richard Levinson and William Link. William Link and yeah, I'll tell you, Richard Levinson and William Link had already created that show. So he played the character, you know. We played the character that was on the Mannix TV series, the Lieutenant Adam Tobias character. Um, that was on the Mannix TV series that was from like what 1969 to 1975. He appeared. He typically appeared in like three to five episodes of Mannix each season. He also directed several episodes of the Brady Bunch during its run after Reed's agents have they're overbooking this man. They overbooking him. Why Reed Robert Reed his agents, they had overbooked this man for they overbooking this man for a goddamn film in the UK with the what's it, Anglia Television. It was located in the UK. You know what I mean? His cancellation led to the 1972 court case of Anglia Television Limited versus Robert Reed. This the Anglia LTV the Anglia Television Ltd versus Reed case. See, the Anglia Television Limited versus Reed case that had been happening in the 70s when the lawsuit happened. So it's it's the only way around where they had these lawsuits. That's been lawsuit is like a stuff of legend. It's like a stuff of legend. So the later career that they had for Reed after the Brady Bunch where was going to end that's happened after the Brady Bunch series had ended in 1974 for some reason. Reed started acting on stage, and he made some guest appearances on other TV series and TV movies, made for TV movies, including Pray for the Wildcats, SST Death Flight. He won critical acclaim for his portrayal of Pat Caddison, who had to be a doctor who comes out as transgender. In a two-part episode, in a two-part episode, that's a two-part episode of the medical center. In 1975, the episode had also earned him a Primetime Emmy Award nomination. A Primetime Emmy Award nomination that he also been earning for years. Also that year he started appearing in the made for TV movies. One of them is called The Secret Night Caller as respectably married man with a compulsion to make obscene phone calls to women that he barely knows. The women that he barely knows. Reed appeared in a TV film called Boy in a Plastic Bubble, the miniseries Rich Man, Poor Man, and the miniseries Roots. Reed was again nominated uh, for an Emmy Award for his work in that miniseries. I think the two miniseries that he been there. Both miniseries that he had been on was Rich Man, Poor Man, and Roots. He also guest starred on the Love Boat, the second season, episode 5, which was aired on October 20th, 1978, or October 20th, 1978. Wonder Woman, he was on there. Wonder Woman, Hawaii Five-O, Charlie's Angels, Galactica 1980, and Vegas. In 1981, Reed won the lead role of Doctor Adam Rose. Doctor Adam Rose on the medical drama Nurse. This is him. This is Reed. This is Reed when he played uh the character. This is Reed where he played the character. This is him after the Brady Bunch was off the air. Man grew a mustache. Man had grew a mustache. Despite the critical acclaim, the series was like canceled. They were canceled the following year. But in the 1986, in 1986, he played the role of Lloyd Kendall, on the daytime soap opera called The Search for Tomorrow. I think Suzanne Summers. I do not know what happened with Search for Tomorrow. I think Suzanne Summers was in this movie, this TV series. I think it's a soap opera. I think it's a soap opera. I don't even know. I think I don't know who was on this I don't know who was I don't even know who was on there. The Search for Tomorrow. I do not know that. I do not know if I don't even know if Suzanne Summers. I don't know if Suzanne Summers was in this movie. Was in this show. I do not know that Suzanne Summers. I don't know Suzanne Summers or what's the name? What's the name? I don't know if Suzanne Summers was in there. I don't know if Suzanne Summers is in this was in the soap opera. Well, it's not. Well, Suzanne Summers wasn't even in it, but I gotta find out who it was. Oh yeah, one person who was on search for tomorrow, and guess who? Guess who? Robert Reed is working with Audra Lindley. Audra Lindley, the Three's Company actress. So I did a live show based on her. Um, Goes back to like previous Tuesday. So Reed's been featured in that soap opera with Lindley. With Lindley. Reed's working with Lindley. Of course, I did not know I did not know Reed is and Lindley are in the same soap opera. So let me explain it to y'all. Let me go back. Let me start back over. In 1986, he played the role of the character Lloyd Kendall. Lloyd Kendall. He played the role of the character on the search for tomorrow soap opera, the daytime soap opera. He also made multiple appearances on what's it Fantasy Island. Yeah, he was on Fantasy Island. He was appearing on Hunter. He appeared on the Love Boat, and he appeared on Murder She Wrote. Murder She Wrote. He appeared on Murder She Wrote. He appeared on three or four shows. 3 or 4 shows he appeared. Despite his dislike or his hatred of the Brady Bunch and the character that he portrayed Mike as Mike Brady, Reed started continuing to appear in Brady Bunch spin-offs and sequels for the remainder of his career in 1976. Reed reprised the role of that character, the Mike Brady character in the variety show The Brady Bunch Hour. The Brady Bunch Hour, a role he openly embraced because it afforded him it started affording him to be in the opportunity. It afforded him somewhat of an opportunity to sing and dance. He would later appear in the television film The Brady Girls Get Married. The Brady Girls Get Married. Uh, it was in the TV the film, the television film. It was called a Very Brady Christmas. A Very Brady Christmas. See, this is before. Yeah, this is before. This was right before. Uh, we got sick. We got mighty sick. We had some health issues after the movies. After the movies, yeah, he been this man been on both TV films. Like he will later appear in the TV film. I'm not gonna lie, the TV film that this is where we would later appear. We would have probably later appear in both TV films. Is both in one TV in this one TV film. It was like the Brady Girls. The Brady Girls gets married. The Brady Girls gets married. That was a 1981 television film. And you had a 1988 and another television film that was out in 1988. It's called A Very Brady Christmas. A Very Brady Christmas. Let me push here. A Very Brady Christmas. But it's a problem. E. Plum was supposed to show up. E. Plum was supposed to be there, but she was on there. I did not even know that. Well, E. Plum was already in the show. I'm not gonna lie. E. Plum decided to be on the show, but E. Plum's supposed to be on the show. But Susan Olsen in 1988, uh, Susan Olsen did not even show up. So they replacing her with Jennifer Runyon. They're replacing her with Jennifer Runyon. They have Jennifer Runyon taking taking Susan Olsen's place because Olsen did not show up. We go there where the Brady girls get married. Uh, they have the Brady brides. Uh, Maureen McCormick and E. Plum was there, but the original cast members did not even show up. They have Florence Henderson and Ann Davis, uh, but few of the other cast members did not even show up. They did not show. They did not even show up. But in 1989, as far as I know of, he guest starred as Mike Brady in a Barry Brady episode. Well, it's called Day by Day. It's called Day by Day. Um, it was completely conflicting. An episode Day by Day. See, none of the cast members did not even, you know, I don't know what happened to that show. I don't know what even happened to that show. They have everybody on there, you know, everybody was on there, you know, a lot of people were already on that other TV show. So this is crazy. A lot of people have already been on that show, on that some other TV sitcom that's already been on the air for years. They've been on the air from the 80s. So it was a very Brady, it was a very Brady episode. Why would Robert Reed had a guest appearance called a very Brady episode, which was called Day by Day. It was a TV show. I think he appeared this TV show called Day by Day. It was like 1988. But he get but It was an old TV show. Everybody was on there. So had Birch Smith, Dreyfus, Barnes, Kelsey, and Sheehan. Uh, Reed appeared on one of those episodes in 1989, I think. But let me explain to you back in the day, back in 1989, uh, he guest starred as, I mean, Robert Reed guest starred as that same character that he portrayed, Mike Brady. That was from the Brady Bunch TV series. You know, in this Barry Brady episode that was of the NBC. It was an NBC sitcom. Of it was called Day by Day. It was called Day by Day. Also in 1989, Reed had started with team with Henderson, his Brady Bunch co-star Henderson, um, in a guest starring role in the sitcom. I feel it was called Free Spirit. It's called Free Spirit, which was an ABC American fantasy sitcom. But Reed reprised the role of the Mike Brady character for the final time in the drama series The Brady's. The Brady's. In this drama series called The Brady's. Well, 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 you have Williams, Knight, and Lookinland, but E. Plum was present. But E. Plum was present. Susan Olsen was present in the show, and Bradford Davis was in the was on there, and Leah Iris. Well, Maurice McCormick did not even show up, so they replaced her with Leah Ayres instead. They replaced her with Leah Ayres instead because Maureen McCormick was on some sort of a drug bender. Yeah, Maureen McCormick was yeah, I'm gonna tell you about Maureen McCormick. She was she was on some sort of a drug stupor. So reason why she did not show up, so they had to replace her with Leah Ayres instead. They replaced her with Leah Ayres instead. So see the Brady's the series have was about to be, taken off the airwaves, like canceled. The series was canceled after like, you know how many fingers I'm gonna hold up for y'all? Six of them. Six of them. 6 episodes of that show. 6 episodes. Not gonna lie to you. 6 episodes. Reed, I'm gonna tell you about Reed. He made his last on-screen appearance in April of 1992. He made his final on-screen appearance in the April 1992 episode of Jake and the Fat Man. And Jake and the Fat Man is called Ain't Misbehaving. Shortly before, but shortly as like this. Shortly before his death, Reed appeared in the touring production of Love Letters opposite Betsy Palmer. Let me show you that name. Betsy Palmer. Yeah, love letters. He was appearing in the touring production of love letters that was opposite, you know, opposite this woman, Betsy Palmer, Betsy Palmer, and he started teaching classes on on the Legend of Shakespeare at the UCLA college. And you was in UCLA college. His personal life started to be shown there. Uh, had to reveal it though. Reed and fellow Northwest this is what happened. Reed and fellow Northwestern student Melon Rosenberger. I don't know who this woman was. This woman who's a fellow Northwestern student. Oh yeah, he married Melon Rosenberger. Yeah, they both been married in July of 1954. Reed and a fellow Northwestern student, Melon Rosenberger. They had a daughter named Karen Rietz, who was best friends with one of Reed's co-stars, Susan Olsen. Before Reed and Rosenberger uh, had divorced in 1959. In 1959, but Reed had kept the fact that he was actually gay, a close secret since public knowledge of his true sexual orientation during that era would likely have damaged his career several years after his death. Reed's Brady Bunch co-stars, notably Barry Williams and Florence Henderson, publicly acknowledged Reed's sexual orientation and revealed that the entire cast and crew of the Brady Bunch were aware of it. Henderson spoke of Reed being in the closet during a 2000 interview with ABC News, where he was the perfect father of this wonderful little family, a perfect husband off camera. He was an unhappy person. I think had Bob not been forced to live this double life, I think it would have dissipated a lot of anger and frustration. That's right, frustration. That's the word. It's the words that she was telling ABC News. I think it would have dissipated a lot of that anger and frustration. I never asked I never asked him I never asked him I never challenged him. I had a lot of compassion for him because I knew how he was suffering with keeping it secret regarding Reed's unwillingness to discuss his sexuality, even off camera and in private. Williams told ABC, Barry Williams, who was Reed's one of Reed's co-stars, one of Reed's co-stars on the Brady Bunch, told ABC News during an interview in 2000 that Robert didn't want to go there. So that's what he said. He said this like he said this in 2000 during the interview. Williams told them during the interview in 2000 that Robert didn't want to go there. I would tell you, Robert didn't want to go there. I don't think he talked about it with anyone. I just don't think it was open for discussion. It was open. I don't even think it was open for discussion. Period. It ever come out that Robert Reed was gay, it probably would have caused the demise of the show. I think it would have hurt his career tremendously. In in late 1991 November, I think it was like the death. In late 1991, Reed was diagnosed with a colon lymphoma, a colon lymphoma, a rare form of colon cancer. When he became ill, he only allowed his daughter Karen Waits, an actress Anne Haney, an actress Anne Haney, who was a close friend of his, to just visit him. Haney later said of Reed, he came from the old school where people had a sense of decorum. He went the way he wanted to without the publicity. Weeks before his death, Reed called Henderson and started asking her to inform the rest of the Brady Bunch cast that he was terminally ill. He died on May 12th, 1992, at Huntington Memorial Hospital at Huntington Memorial Hospital in Pasadena, California, at the age of 59. At the age of 59. Initially, Reed's death Reed's death was solely attributed to cancer, but details which were written on his death certificate were later made public, revealing that Reed was also HIV positive. The actor had been diagnosed with, I don't know what the diagnosis that the actor had. He had the actor had been diagnosed with HIV in the spring of 1991. It remains unknown that when Reed had contracted that HIV virus, because he kept his medical condition and private life a big secret from the public until his death, telling only a few close friends. While Reed did not have AIDS at the time of his death, his doctor listed his HIV positive status as one of the significant conditions that contributed to death on the death certificate. He is buried in the Memorial Park Cemetery in Skokie, Illinois. Well, they're about to bury him. They're about to send him on his way back to Illinois. This is all his filmography from the 1950s to the late 1950s to the early 1990s. His television appearances from the 1950s all the way to the 1990s. He won those award nominations and all that. I got some things. I got another live show based on the real 50 Cent, Kelvin Martin. Uh, I'm gonna have to do a live show based on him on probably on the 24th. I gotta find. All right, I'm going to have to do a live show. Uh, Probably on the 24th. On 24th, I'm gonna be back in the studio for. I'll be back in the studio on the 24th of this month. To do a live show that's based on and it's called The Story of Kelvin Martin, who's also known as the original 50 Cent from Brooklyn. So I'm going to do all the work. We'll see y'all see you guys on the 24th. See you guys on the 24th, man. Cause I'm about to tear the house down. I'm about to get ready to tear the house down with that shit. I'm about to tear the house down with that shit because I want to do that live show just for the sake of everything else. So this live show here is dedicated into the memory of of the star of the shows like the Defenders, the Brady Bunch, and all the other shit that he's been doing. Uh, this man had to be Robert Reed, whose real name is John Robert Rietz Jr. So rest in peace to him. You know, born in October 19th, 1932. Uh, Died May 12th, 1992. But rest in peace to Robert Reed because he's the OG. He's the OG who's been, man came from the old school. He represented the old school. You know what I mean? But he will be missed though. His legacy. I'm doing anything I can do once to keep this man's legacy alive. But rest in peace to him. About to end this live show. But yesterday, I was watching this post show, the off the script post show, and then I try to get on the chat, try to be on the chat, and all of a sudden, the internet froze on me. The Wi-Fi froze on me. But that part, I'm going to go watch. I'm gonna watch the extra of all the script, and I'm gonna watch last night's off the script. You know what I mean? See you on the 24th. See you on the 24th see you on October 24th. On the legacy on the story of Kelvin Martin, the original 50 Cent from Brooklyn. See you on the 24th.